My dear brother, my dear sister, before you go any further, just pause for a moment. If your heart feels heavy right now, if you've been tired without knowing why, if you've been letting go of people and it hurt more than you expected, then this message is for you. Allah does not bring hearts together with reminders by accident. Some of you have been chasing people who never chased you back. Some of you stopped explaining yourself and felt guilty for choosing peace. Some of you are wondering quietly, did I do the right thing? Listen carefully. By the end of this reminder, you will understand why Allah allowed that pain, why stopping hurt before it healed, and why letting go was never your loss. There is one understanding near the end that changes how you carry everything you've been holding inside. So don't rush this message. Let it sit with you, because Allah sometimes answers our hearts not with miracles, but with clarity. Stay with me. Allah never asked you to chase hearts that aren't yours. My dear brother, my dear sister, there is a kind of pain that does not scream. It does not cry loudly. It sits quietly in the heart. It is the pain of chasing. Chasing people, chasing attention, chasing replies, chasing love that keeps slipping away. And slowly, without realizing it, your heart becomes tired. Not tired of loving, not tired of caring, but tired of running. Allah never asked you to live like this. Allah never said, run after them until your heart is empty. He never said, lower yourself again and again so someone stays. This chasing you are doing, it did not come from Allah. It came from fear. Fear of being alone. Fear of being forgotten. Fear of losing someone you attached your heart to. But my dear one, Allah did not create you to live in fear. If something was written for you, you would not have to chase it. You would not feel your chest tighten every time you stop trying. You would not feel scared that silence means loss. What Allah writes for you does not escape you. Think about this gently. When Allah sends rain, does the earth chase the clouds? No. It waits. And when the time is right, the rain comes. In the same way, what is meant for your heart will arrive without you breaking yourself. But when you chase people, something dangerous begins to happen inside. You start thinking love must be earned through pain. You start believing effort means suffering. You start confusing patience with self-neglect. You tell yourself, if I try harder, they will stay. If I explain more, they will understand. If I give more, they will choose me. And slowly, you forget that love is not meant to be forced. Allah did not design love to make you feel small. He did not design connection to drain your soul. He did not design relationships to make you question your worth. If loving someone is costing you your peace, that is not love from Allah. Chasing feels like care in the beginning. It feels like loyalty. It feels like sincerity. But over time, it turns into quiet humiliation. You wait longer for replies. You excuse behavior that hurts you. You accept being ignored. You tell yourself it's okay even when your heart is crying. And Allah watches all of this. He sees how you are shrinking. He sees how you are bending yourself into shapes you were never created to fit. And sometimes Allah allows the chasing to continue until you finally feel tired enough to stop. Not because He wants to hurt you, but because He wants to wake you up. Because the moment you stop chasing, you begin to remember something very important. You remember your dignity. You remember that Allah honored you before anyone else had a chance to accept or reject you. You remember that your worth does not increase when someone chooses you and does not decrease when someone leaves. My dear brother, my dear sister, you were valuable even when no one was calling you. You were worthy even when no one was choosing you. You mattered even when no one noticed you. So why should you chase someone who treats your presence as optional? Allah never asked you to beg for space in someone's life. He gave you honor, and honor is not chased. It is protected. When you stop chasing people, it can feel uncomfortable at first. Silence becomes louder. Distance feels heavier. Your heart asks, what if I lose them? But ask yourself something deeper. What have you already lost by chasing? Your peace, your confidence, your emotional safety. Allah sometimes removes people by making you tired of chasing them. Not suddenly, not harshly, but slowly. so that when you finally stop, you understand why. Because if Allah wanted them to stay, He would have softened their hearts. He would have made effort easy on both sides. He would have brought balance. Allah does not put real love on only one set of shoulders. When you stop chasing, you are not rejecting anyone. You are accepting the truth that what is meant for you will never require you to beg. The truth that Allah's gifts do not come wrapped in anxiety. The truth that dignity is more important than attachment. And listen to this carefully. Walking away from chasing does not mean you stop caring. It means you stop bleeding silently. It means you choose to protect your heart the way Allah intended. Because a heart that is always chasing has no time to rest. And Allah wants your heart at peace. Sometimes the most powerful move is not speaking, not explaining, not running, not trying, just stopping. And when you stop, you will notice something surprising. The right people move closer. The wrong people move away. And Allah stays. Always, when you finally stop chasing, the silence can feel frightening. Your phone feels heavier in your hand. The waiting feels longer. Your heart keeps checking, hoping, wondering, and your mind whispers, what if they forget me now? But my dear one, anything that can only remember you when you chase it was already forgetting you. This is a painful truth, but it is also a freeing one, because love that disappears when you stop running was never walking with you. Allah knows how difficult this moment is. He knows how strong the urge is to send one more message, to explain one more time, to try just once more. But Allah is teaching your heart something precious. He is teaching you that peace does not come from being chosen by people. Peace comes from being content with Allah's choice. You see, chasing is often not about the other person. It is about the fear inside us. Fear of emptiness, fear of loneliness, fear of starting again. So we chase, hoping the running will distract us from the silence. But Allah does not heal the heart through noise. He heals it through stillness. When you stop chasing, your heart finally becomes quiet enough to hear what Allah has been whispering all along. You are enough. You are not forgotten. You are not replaceable. My dear brother, my dear sister, Allah did not create you to be an option someone considers when they feel bored, lonely, or convenient. He created you with purpose, with value, with honor. And honor is not something you negotiate for. Think about how Allah deals with His servants. Does He make you chase Him? No. When you turn to Him, He turns to you more. When you walk toward Him, He runs toward you. So why should love in your life feel harder than your relationship with Allah? If something pulls you away from peace, pulls you away from prayer, pulls you away from yourself, it is not a blessing. Allah does not send blessings that drain the soul. Sometimes Allah allows someone to ignore you so you can finally stop ignoring yourself. Sometimes He allows someone to choose distance so you can choose dignity. And this part is important. When you stop chasing, do not rush to fill the emptiness. Do not jump from one attachment to another. Do not replace people with distractions. Sit with the silence, because silence is where Allah rebuilds you. It is where your heart learns to breathe again. It is where your tears finally mean something. It is where you unlearn the habit of begging for love. You begin to realize something slowly. You were never asking for too much. You were asking the wrong people. And Allah, in His mercy, removes the wrong people before they turn your heart bitter. My dear one, not everyone who leaves your life is a loss. Some are lessons. Some are protection. Some are Allah answering a dua you didn't even know how to make. You asked Allah for peace. You asked Him for clarity. You asked Him for a heart that feels safe. And Allah answered by removing the chase. At first it hurts, but later you understand. Because the day you stop chasing people, you begin to walk with confidence again. You stop checking your worth through someone else's attention. You stop measuring your value by how much effort you put in. You start standing still, firm, grounded. And Allah loves a heart that knows its value, not in pride, not in arrogance, but in calm certainty. When the right people come into your life, you will feel it. There will be effort on both sides. There will be peace, not panic. There will be growth, not exhaustion. You will not have to chase. You will not have to beg. You will not have to fear silence, because what is written for you recognizes you. And until that moment comes, Allah is enough. He fills the gaps. He heals the cracks. He stays when others leave. So if you are in that phase right now, where you are learning to stop chasing, be gentle with yourself. Healing is not loud. It is quiet, slow, sometimes lonely, but it is holy. And one day you will look back and realize the moment you stopped chasing people was the moment your life began to feel lighter. Not because you lost someone, but because you found yourself again. And most importantly, you found Allah waiting for you. Always. Chasing slowly teaches the heart to forget its worth. There is something that chasing does to the heart that many people do not notice at first. At the beginning, it feels harmless. It feels like effort. It feels like care. You tell yourself, I am just trying. I am just being patient. I am just showing love. But slowly, very slowly, your heart starts learning the wrong lessons. It learns that love must be painful to be real. It learns that silence is something you must earn. It learns that your needs are less important than keeping someone in your life. And this is where the danger begins. Because the heart that keeps chasing starts forgetting its own value. You begin to accept things you would never accept before. You wait longer for replies that used to come easily. You excuse behavior that once would have hurt you deeply. You smile on the outside while something inside you feels heavy, and you say nothing. You tell yourself, they didn't mean it. They're just busy. It's not a big deal. But your heart knows. It knows when it is being ignored. It knows when it is being taken for granted. It knows when it is shrinking. Allah gave your heart feelings for a reason, not to torture you, but to guide you. When chasing becomes a habit, your heart slowly learns to beg, not with words, but with silence, with tolerance, with self-neglect. You stop asking for clarity. You stop asking for effort. You stop asking for respect because you are afraid that asking will make them leave. My dear one, the moment you are scared to ask for respect, something is already wrong. Allah does not want your heart living in fear. He does not want you walking on eggshells. He does not want you guessing your place in someone's life. A heart that is always chasing is a heart that is always anxious. Anxious about being replaced. Anxious about being forgotten. Anxious about not being enough. And this anxiety slowly eats away at your peace. You may not notice it at first, but it shows up in small ways. You overthink conversations. You replay messages in your mind. You wonder if you said the wrong thing. You blame yourself for their distance. And without realizing it, you begin to believe something dangerous. If I were better, they would stay. This thought is heavy. This thought is painful. And this thought is not from Allah. Allah does not tie your worth to someone else's attention. Your value does not increase when someone chooses you. And it does not decrease when someone walks away. But chasing makes the heart forget this truth. It trains the heart to accept crumbs instead of nourishment, to accept confusion instead of clarity, to accept effort from one side only. And Allah sees this. He sees how your heart is trying to survive on something that was never meant to feed it. That is why sometimes Allah allows the chasing to continue until you finally feel tired, not tired of loving, but tired of losing yourself. Because Allah wants you to reach a point where you say, I cannot do this anymore. That moment is not weakness. That moment is awakening. It is the moment your heart starts remembering who it belongs to. You see, my dear brother, my dear sister, Allah did not create your heart to beg for importance. He created it to be honored. He created it to be protected. He created it to be at peace. And anything that trains your heart to forget its worth cannot be a blessing. Sometimes Allah removes the desire to chase before He removes the person. He makes your heart heavy, so you finally put it down. He makes the effort exhausting, so you stop. Not because He wants you lonely, but because He wants you safe. Because a heart that keeps begging for love will eventually believe it deserves pain. And Allah does not want that for you. He wants you to love, yes, but not at the cost of yourself. He wants you to care, yes, but not at the price of your dignity. He wants you to be patient, yes, but not silent when you are being hurt. So if you are feeling tired right now, tired of explaining, tired of waiting, tired of trying, that tiredness is not random. It is your heart asking for rescue. And Allah is listening. When you finally stop chasing, your heart does something strange at first. It feels guilty. Guilty for not trying harder. Guilty for not sending that message. Guilty for choosing silence. And this guilt confuses many people. They think, maybe I gave up too soon. Maybe I should try one last time. Maybe stopping means I didn't care enough. But listen to this gently. Stopping does not mean you stopped caring. Stopping means you stopped hurting yourself. You see, when you chase for a long time, your heart gets used to pain. Pain starts feeling normal. Exhaustion starts feeling like effort. Emotional hunger starts feeling like love. So when you stop chasing, peace feels unfamiliar. And unfamiliar things feel wrong at first. This is why many people go back to chasing. Not because it was good for them, but because it was familiar. Allah knows this about the human heart. That is why He is patient with you. He does not rush your healing. He does not shame you for feeling confused. He understands how attached hearts behave. My dear one, Allah is gentle with hearts that are learning again. When you stop chasing, your heart slowly begins to breathe. At first, the breaths are short, uneasy, uncomfortable, but slowly they become deeper. You start noticing small changes. You sleep a little better. You think a little clearer. You no longer jump every time your phone vibrates. You no longer feel sick in your chest waiting for replies. These small changes matter. They are signs that your heart is returning to safety, and something else begins to happen. You start remembering who you were before chasing became your habit. You remember your laughter, your confidence, your calm. You remember that you once had boundaries. You once spoke without fear. You once did not beg for attention. That version of you was not weak. That version of you was healthy. Allah is not changing you. He is restoring you. And restoration takes time. Sometimes memories will come back. Moments, conversations, what ifs. Do not fight them. Let them pass like clouds. Chasing taught your heart to hold on tightly. Healing teaches it to release gently. And here is a truth that brings peace. The right people do not need you to forget yourself to stay. The right people do not benefit from your insecurity. The right people feel closer when you stand strong, not small. Allah knows who belongs in your life. And if someone needed you to keep chasing in order to stay, they were feeding on your effort, not loving your soul. This realization hurts at first, but later it heals deeply. Because it removes a heavy burden. You stop trying to prove your value. You stop trying to earn space. You stop measuring yourself through someone else's behavior. And Allah fills that space with peace. Not overnight, not suddenly, but slowly, steadily, kindly. My dear brother, my dear sister, Allah never meant for your heart to live in survival mode. He meant for it to live in trust. Trust that what is written will come. Trust that what leaves was never meant to stay. Trust that your worth is not fragile. If you are learning to stop chasing right now, be patient with yourself. You are unlearning a habit, not losing love. You are choosing dignity, not loneliness. And Allah is pleased when His servant chooses self-respect over silent suffering. One day, you will look back and thank Allah for making chasing too painful to continue, because that pain saved your heart. And Allah always saves what He loves, always. Those who leave when you stop chasing were never staying for you. There is a moment that changes the heart forever. It is the moment you stop chasing and notice who disappears. This moment hurts in a way that words struggle to explain, because you don't just feel loss. You feel realization. You begin to see clearly who was walking with you and who was only standing there because you kept calling them back. Many people do not leave suddenly. They leave quietly. They leave the moment you stop trying, the moment you stop explaining, the moment you stop chasing. And at first, your heart asks painful questions. Was I ever important? Did they ever care? Did I imagine everything? My dear one, These questions are heavy, but they are part of awakening. Some people were never attached to you. They were attached to how you made them feel, to the attention you gave, to the effort you poured in. They loved being chased, not being connected. So when the chasing stopped, there was nothing left to hold them. And Allah allows you to see this, not to shame you, but to free you. Because a heart cannot heal while holding illusions. It is painful to realize that someone stayed, not because they valued you, but because you made it easy for them to stay without giving anything back. This truth feels like betrayal, but it is actually clarity. Allah removes people in layers. First, He removes their effort. Then He removes their presence. Finally, He removes the attachment from your heart. Each step hurts differently. When their effort disappears, you feel confused. When their presence disappears, you feel abandoned. But when the attachment disappears, you feel peace. That peace does not come quickly. It comes after tears, after nights of silence, after moments where your heart wants to go back and chase again. But Allah is gentle. He knows that the heart does not let go easily. That is why He does not break attachments suddenly. He loosens them slowly so you can survive the truth. My dear brother, my dear sister, people who leave when you stop chasing were never staying for you. They were staying for convenience, for comfort, for what they could receive without responsibility. And Allah does not want your heart serving people who do not serve it back. You see, real connection does not disappear when effort becomes balanced. Real love does not vanish when you stop running. Real care does not need reminders. If someone only stays as long as you keep proving yourself, that relationship was built on imbalance. And imbalance always breaks. Allah shows you this. So you stop blaming yourself. Because many people think, if I had been better, they would have stayed. No, my dear one. If they were meant to stay, Allah would have planted care in their heart. You cannot chase sincerity into someone. You cannot explain loyalty into someone. You cannot sacrifice your way into being valued. And Allah does not want you trying. Sometimes Allah lets people leave so you can finally stop hoping they will change. Hope becomes painful when it keeps you stuck. Allah does not want you stuck. He wants you growing. And growth sometimes begins with disappointment. This is why Allah says in many ways, not always with words, let them go. I am protecting you. Protection does not always feel gentle at first. Sometimes it feels like loss. Sometimes it feels like loneliness. Sometimes it feels like silence. But later, much later, you understand. Because the people who remain after you stop chasing are the ones who see you. They do not need effort to stay. They do not need reminders to care. They do not disappear when you rest. Allah removes those who feed on your energy so you can recognize those who bring you peace. My dear one, not everyone who walks away was meant to walk beside you. Some were meant to show you what imbalance looks like. Some were meant to teach you the cost of overgiving. And some were meant to leave so you could finally choose yourself. Allah does not allow heartbreak without purpose. Every departure that followed your silence was Allah saying, now you see. When the realization finally settles in, it feels heavy in a quiet way. Not loud pain, not dramatic heartbreak, but a slow understanding that something you believed in was not what you thought it was. And this understanding can hurt more than the actual loss. Because now you are not just grieving a person. You are grieving an idea, an image, a hope you carried in your heart. You are grieving what you thought could be. Allah knows how painful this is. That is why He allows clarity to come slowly. If He showed you everything at once, your heart would break completely. So He lets you see the truth in small pieces. First, you notice the silence, then the distance, then the absence, and finally, the pattern. You realize that when you stopped chasing, they did not come closer. They did not ask what happened. They did not check on your heart. They did not fight to stay. And this hurts. Because deep inside, you hoped they would notice. You hoped your silence would make them care. You hoped your absence would be felt. But my dear one, People who truly care do not wait for silence to act. They feel distance immediately. They sense change in your tone. They do not ignore your absence. So if someone only notices you when you chase them, they were never seeing you. Allah allows this realization so you stop chasing illusions, because illusions drain the heart more than reality ever could. At first, you may feel anger at them, anger at yourself. You may think, how did I not see this before? Why did I give so much? Why did I ignore the signs? Be gentle with yourself. You loved with sincerity. You gave with a pure heart. That was never a mistake. The mistake was not loving. The mistake was staying where love was not returned. And Allah forgives you for that. In fact, Allah honors hearts that love sincerely, but He does not allow them to be destroyed forever. That is why He steps in when you finally stop chasing. He lets people reveal themselves without effort holding them in place. And what is revealed is not always pretty, but it is honest. Honesty heals, even when it hurts. My dear brother, my dear sister, there is something freeing about knowing the truth. No more guessing, no more hoping, no more explaining. Just acceptance. Acceptance that not everyone who comes into your life comes to stay. Some come to show you what imbalance feels like, so you never accept it again. Some come to teach you the price of overgiving. Some come to leave, so you learn to stand on your own. Allah does not waste pain. Every departure that followed your silence was Allah cleaning your path. Not to leave you empty, but to make space. Space for peace. Space for sincerity. Space for people who choose you without being chased. And slowly something beautiful happens. You stop missing the person and you start missing the version of yourself that existed before the chasing began. And Allah helps you rebuild that version. Stronger, calmer, wiser. You begin to trust yourself again. You trust your feelings. You trust your instincts. You no longer chase to keep people from leaving. You let them choose. And this is power, not loud power, not controlling power, but quiet strength. The strength to say, if you stay, stay with sincerity. If you leave, leave with honesty. And Allah loves a heart that chooses truth over attachment. My dear one, what left when you stopped chasing made room for something better? Not always another person. Sometimes just peace. And peace is a gift many people never find. Allah gave it to you the day you stopped running after those who were never walking with you. Always remember this gently. The people who are meant to stay will not need to be chased. And the ones who leave were only revealing what Allah already knew. And Allah knows best. When you step back, Allah steps forward. There comes a moment in life when doing less brings more peace than doing everything. This is difficult for the heart to accept because we are taught that effort fixes things, that trying harder solves problems, that holding on longer shows love. But sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is step back, not in anger, not in pride, but in trust. When you step back, you give Allah space. Space to show you the truth, space to rearrange what you were forcing, space to protect your heart from what you could not see. Many people think that if they stop trying, everything will fall apart. But my dear one, what is meant for you does not fall apart when you rest. It settles. Allah does not ask you to carry burdens He never placed on you. If something requires constant force, constant chasing, constant fear of loss, it may not be from Allah. When you step back, your heart feels uncomfortable at first. You feel like you are giving up control. You feel like things might slip away. You feel like silence might mean loss. But Allah uses this silence to speak. He shows you who reaches out. He shows you who notices. He shows you who cares. Without being pushed. This is not weakness. This is wisdom. Because effort from one side only creates exhaustion, not connection. Allah never designed relationships to survive on imbalance. When you step back, you stop forcing outcomes. You stop trying to control hearts. You stop trying to manage feelings. You stop trying to hold what keeps slipping. And Allah loves this moment because it is the moment you hand the situation back to Him. You say without words, "Oh Allah, I have tried. Now I trust you. And trust is powerful. Trust removes anxiety from the chest. Trust removes fear from the heart. Trust replaces panic with calm. My dear brother, my dear sister, when Allah steps in, He does not rush. He observes. He allows things to reveal themselves. He lets people show you who they really are without your effort hiding the truth. And this revelation is gentle but clear. You notice who reaches out. You notice who disappears. You notice who stays steady without reminders. And this clarity is a gift, because before your chasing was blurring everything. You were too busy running to see who was walking with you. Allah slows you down so you can finally see. Stepping back does not mean you stop caring. It means you stop exhausting yourself for people who are not matching your effort. It means you protect your heart the way Allah wants you to. Allah does not want your heart living in survival mode. He wants it living in peace. And peace begins when you stop forcing what is not flowing. Sometimes Allah removes the need to do more, so you learn the beauty of doing less. Less explaining, less chasing, less worrying, more trusting, more surrendering, more breathing. My dear one, when Allah is involved, nothing meant for you will require panic to keep. And nothing not meant for you will stay, no matter how tightly you hold it. This is why stepping back is not losing control. It is choosing Allah's control. And Allah's control never fails. Stepping back often feels like standing at the edge of something unknown. Your heart whispers, what if everything falls apart now? What if I lose them forever? What if my silence is misunderstood? These thoughts are normal. They come from a heart that has been carrying too much for too long. But listen gently. If something falls apart, only when you stop holding it together, then you were never meant to carry it alone. Allah does not place responsibility for people's hearts on your shoulders. When you step back, you are not abandoning love. You are abandoning fear. Fear makes us rush. Fear makes us overdo. Fear makes us chase. Trust makes us still. And stillness is where Allah works best. When you step back, Allah begins to rearrange quietly. Not always in ways you expect. Not always in ways you like at first, but always in ways that protect you. You may notice that some people suddenly reach out. They ask how you are. They sense the distance and they care. And you may notice that others disappear completely. This hurts, but this separation is not random. Allah is showing you who was present because of love and who was present because of effort. Effort hides many truths. When you were chasing, you were filling gaps that were never meant to be filled by you. You were carrying conversations. You were holding connections together. You were supplying energy where none was being returned. Allah allows you to step back so the truth can breathe. And truth, my dear one, is always lighter than confusion. At first, the quiet feels heavy. You are used to noise, messages, worry, thinking. But slowly, the quiet becomes peaceful. Your heart no longer races. Your mind no longer replays conversations. Your chest no longer feels tight. You begin to sleep better. You begin to breathe deeper. These are signs of healing. And healing does not mean everything is fixed. It means everything is becoming honest. Allah loves honesty. He loves when His servant stops pretending they are okay while hurting inside. Stepping back is an act of honesty. It says, I cannot carry what is not mine. I cannot force what is not written. I choose to trust you. And Allah responds to trust. He replaces fear with calm. He replaces confusion with clarity. He replaces chasing with contentment. My dear brother, my dear sister, many people fear stepping back because they think it means losing control. But chasing was never control. It was anxiety disguised as effort. Real control comes from surrender, from knowing that what is meant for you cannot miss you, from knowing that Allah's plan does not depend on your exhaustion, from knowing that your worth does not decrease when you stop trying. When you step back, you begin to notice your own needs again. You listen to your heart. You respect your limit. You honor your emotions. This is not selfishness. This is self-respect. And Allah loves self-respect because a heart that respects itself is less likely to be broken by the world. You also begin to see life differently. You stop running after people and start walking toward purpose. You invest in your prayer. You invest in your peace. You invest in becoming whole again, and Allah meets you there. He always meets you where sincerity lives. So if you are in a season where Allah is teaching you to step back, do not rush to fill the space. Do not panic in the silence. Do not doubt yourself. Let Allah work, because the silence you fear is often the space where Allah is fixing everything. And one day you will realize that stepping back did not make you lose anything. It saved you. It saved your heart. It saved your peace. It saved your faith. And Allah never saves what He does not love. Never. Real love does not need to be hunted. There is a kind of love that brings peace, and there is a kind of love that steals it. Many people confuse the two. They think love is meant to be intense. They think love must hurt a little. They think love must be chaste, proven, earned. But Allah did not design love to feel like a struggle for survival. Real love does not make you anxious. It does not keep you guessing. It does not punish you with silence. When you stop trying, real love feels safe. If something constantly makes you afraid of losing it, that fear is not love. It is attachment mixed with insecurity. And Allah does not bless His servants with something that destroys their calm. When you chase love, it starts feeling like hunting. You watch carefully what you say. You plan how much you give. You measure your words. You fear being too much or too little. And slowly, you forget to be yourself. This is not love. Love does not ask you to hide parts of who you are. Love does not punish rest. Love does not disappear when effort pauses. My dear one, what needs to be hunted is usually trying to escape. And what is trying to escape was never meant to stay. Allah writes love differently. When Allah writes love for you, it comes toward you. You do not have to chase it. You do not have to trap it. You do not have to prove your worth to it. It recognizes you, just like risk finds you, just like your time finds you, just like your destiny finds you. Love written by Allah finds its way without panic. But when love is not written, it drains you. It makes you tired. It makes you smaller. It makes you question your value. And Allah sees this happening in your heart. He sees how you are bending, how you are adjusting, how you are shrinking to keep something alive. And Allah says gently, this is not how I meant love to feel. Many people stay in exhausting love because they fear emptiness. They say, at least I have something. At least I am not alone. At least someone is there. But my dear brother, my dear sister, being alone with peace is better than being with someone who makes you feel lonely. Loneliness is not about people. It is about connection. And connection cannot exist where effort only flows one way. Real love does not need to be hunted because real love chooses you. It does not wait for reminders. It does not need pressure. It does not disappear when you rest. It grows when you are calm. It strengthens when you are yourself. It stays even when you are silent. This is how Allah designs love. That is why Allah sometimes removes what you thought was love. Not because He wants you hurt, but because He wants you healed. Because He knows that if you stay, your heart will learn the wrong lesson. It will learn that love equals pain. It will learn that effort equals exhaustion. It will learn that your needs are a burden. Allah does not want your heart learning these things. So He creates distance. He makes chasing tiring. He makes attachment heavy. He makes effort painful. So you finally stop, and stopping hurts at first because your heart was attached not to peace, but to the hope that things might change. Hope can be dangerous when it keeps you stuck. Allah replaces false hope with clarity. And clarity, my dear one, hurts less in the long run. You begin to see clearly, if this was love, why do I feel afraid all the time? If this was love, why do I feel exhausted? If this was love, why do I feel like I am losing myself? And these questions are not meant to make you bitter. They are meant to wake you up. Allah wants you to experience love that feels like relief, not tension. Love that adds to your life, not drains it. Love that brings you closer to Allah, not further from yourself. This is why real love does not need to be chased. It flows. And anything that flows naturally does not hurt the heart. My dear brother, my dear sister, if you are tired of chasing love, that tiredness is a sign. It is your heart saying, I want peace. And Allah listens to hearts that ask for peace. When you begin to understand that real love does not need to be chased, your heart feels confused at first, because you may realize that what you were calling love was actually effort mixed with fear. Fear of losing, fear of being alone, fear of starting again. And fear is very powerful. It can make the heart stay where it is not at peace. It can make pain feel familiar. It can make exhaustion feel normal. That is why many people remain in love that hurts them, not because it is good, but because it is known. But Allah does not leave His servant trapped in familiarity that destroys them. He gently pulls the heart away, sometimes through distance, sometimes through silence, sometimes through disappointment, not to punish you, but to protect you. When Allah removes exhausting love, the heart feels empty for a while, and emptiness scares people. They rush to fill it. They distract themselves. They blame themselves. But my dear one, this emptiness is not a curse. It is space. Space for your heart to breathe again. Space for your soul to rest. Space for Allah to teach you what love truly feels like. Real love does not rush you. It does not pressure you. It does not make you anxious. It feels calm. It feels safe. It feels like you can be quiet, without fear of being abandoned. When Allah prepares real love for you, it comes with balance. Both sides carry. Both sides try. Both sides rest. You are not the only one holding it together. And this balance brings peace. My dear brother, my dear sister, Allah never wants you chasing what He can bring to you. If something is written for you, it will find you, even if you are standing still. And if something keeps running away, it is Allah saving you from harm you do not yet see. Letting go feels painful because attachment resists change. But pain from letting go is lighter than pain from staying where you are not valued. Allah replaces exhausting love with something better. Sometimes that better is not another person right away. Sometimes it is peace. Sometimes it is self-respect. Sometimes it is closeness to Allah. And these gifts are priceless. When your heart finally rests, you will look back and realize how heavy chasing was, how much energy it took, how much of yourself it cost. And you will thank Allah for removing what was draining you, even when you begged Him to keep it, because Allah sees the ending while you only see the moment. Trust Him. Trust that love written by Allah will never make you feel small. Trust that real love will meet you halfway. Trust that your heart was never meant to hunt for affection. It was meant to receive it. And Allah, in His perfect timing, will give your heart what it deserves. Peace first, clarity next, and love that feels like coming home always. Peace enters the day you stop explaining yourself. There is a quiet moment that comes after you stop chasing, after you stop forcing, after you stop explaining. It is the moment you finally stop talking and start listening. Not to people, but to your heart. For a long time, your heart was busy proving itself, busy explaining intentions, busy justifying feelings, busy making sure it was understood. And in that noise, it forgot how to be calm. Allah never asked you to explain yourself to everyone. He never asked you to convince people of your sincerity. He never asked you to defend your heart constantly. You see, when you keep explaining yourself, it is often because you are standing in the wrong place. When you are with the right people, your silence is understood. Your intentions are felt. Your heart does not need translation. But when you are with the wrong people, no amount of explanation is enough. They misunderstand you on purpose. They question your motives. They twist your words. They make you feel guilty for having feelings. And slowly, you begin to doubt yourself. You start asking, am I too sensitive? Am I asking for too much? Am I the problem? My dear one, a heart that is constantly explaining is a heart that is not being heard. And Allah sees this. He sees how tired you are from trying to be understood. That is why sometimes Allah teaches you a powerful lesson. It teaches you to stop explaining, not out of anger, not out of pride, but out of self-respect. When you stop explaining yourself, at first it feels uncomfortable. You want to clarify. You want to correct misunderstandings. You want to make sure they see your side. But Allah is teaching you something deeper. He is teaching you that not everyone deserves access to your inner world. Your heart is not a courtroom where you must prove your innocence. Your feelings are not a debate, and your pain does not need approval to be real. When you stop explaining, you stop chasing validation. You stop waiting for people to finally understand you. You stop tying your peace to someone else's perception. And this is freedom, because peace does not come from being understood by everyone. Peace comes from being honest with yourself and trusting Allah. Many people explain themselves because they fear being judged. They fear being misunderstood. They fear being abandoned. So they keep talking, keep clarifying, keep justifying. But my dear brother, my dear sister, people who want to misunderstand you will do so no matter how clearly you speak. And people who care about you will ask before assuming. So why exhaust yourself trying to explain your heart to those who have already decided not to listen? Allah does not want your energy wasted like this. He wants it protected. When you stop explaining, you begin to notice something. The noise fades. The arguments disappear. The confusion reduces. The emotional exhaustion eases. And in that quiet, your heart starts healing. You begin to recognize what feels right and what feels heavy. You realize how often you were carrying guilt that was never yours. You were apologizing for having boundaries. You were explaining why you needed respect. You were justifying why you felt hurt. And Allah says gently, my servant, you do not need permission to protect your heart. Stopping explanations does not mean you stop caring. It means you stop bleeding just to be understood. It means you stop opening wounds for people who keep touching them. It means you trust that Allah knows your intentions even if people do not, and Allah's knowledge is enough. My dear brother, my dear sister, there is great strength in silence. Not the silence of anger, but the silence of clarity. The silence that says, I know who I am. I know my intentions. I know my worth. This silence is not weakness. It is maturity. It is the heart saying, I choose peace over explanation. And Allah loves a heart that chooses peace, because a peaceful heart is closer to Him. Allah breaks attachments before they break you. There is a reason Allah allows certain attachments to slowly become heavy. At first, they feel comforting. They feel familiar. They feel safe. You tell yourself, this person understands me. This connection matters. I can't imagine life without this. And Allah lets you feel that closeness, not because He wants to trap you, but because He wants to show you what your heart attaches to. But then, slowly, something begins to change. The same thing that once brought comfort starts bringing pain. The same attachment that once felt warm starts feeling heavy. You feel restless, uneasy, conflicted, and you don't understand why. My dear one, this is not random. Allah breaks attachments before they break you. If Allah removed them suddenly, your heart would shatter. So He loosens your grip gently. He introduced discomfort. He introduced distance. He introduces tiredness. So your heart begins to let go before the fall becomes too painful, because Allah is merciful. Many people think attachments are love, but not all attachments are healthy. Some attachments form because of loneliness, some because of fear, some because of unhealed wounds. And Allah sees the future of every attachment you hold. He sees where it would lead. He sees how it would drain you. He sees how it would delay your growth. So He intervenes, not harshly, not suddenly, but wisely, you may notice that what once excited you now exhausts you. You may notice that conversations feel forced, that effort feels heavy, that peace disappears. And you ask yourself, what changed? Allah did, because He saw what you could not. My dear brother, my dear sister, Allah never removes something without first giving your heart a chance to detach. That discomfort you feel, that restlessness, that emotional tiredness, it is Allah saying, prepare your heart. This is not meant to stay. At first, the heart resists. It holds tighter. It tries harder. It fears the emptiness because attachment feels safer than the unknown. But Allah knows that staying attached would slowly destroy you. So He makes staying uncomfortable, not to punish you, but to protect you. This is why some relationships do not end suddenly. They fade, they weaken, they tire you. Until one day, you wake up and realize you no longer have the strength to chase. And that moment is mercy. Because a heart that is tired can finally rest. My dear one, Allah does not want your heart bound to something that steals your peace. Peace is sacred, and anything that repeatedly disturbs your peace is not meant to own your heart. Allah sees how attached you are. He sees how much hope you placed. He sees how much you invested emotionally, and He does not shame you for it. He simply guides you out before the damage becomes permanent. Sometimes Allah removes the sweetness from something so you stop craving it. Sometimes He removes the comfort so you stop depending on it. Sometimes He removes the joy so you stop mistaking attachment for love. This is not cruelty, this is wisdom. Because if Allah allowed every attachment to continue unchecked, many hearts would be ruined. My dear brother, my dear sister, when an attachment begins to hurt you, do not rush to blame yourself. Do not think you failed. Do not think you loved wrong. Sometimes Allah allows pain to teach the heart where it does not belong. And the most beautiful part, Allah never breaks attachments without replacing them with something better. Sometimes that replacement is not another person. Sometimes it is clarity. Sometimes it is strength. Sometimes it is closeness to Allah. And these replacements last longer than any unhealthy attachment ever could. So if you feel something slipping away, if you feel your heart slowly letting go, if you feel tired of holding on, do not panic. This may be Allah saving you from something that would have broken you. When an attachment begins to loosen, the heart feels confused. It does not understand why something that once felt right now feels heavy, and the heart resists. It says, maybe I'm overthinking. Maybe this is just a phase. Maybe I should hold on a little longer because letting go feels like loss. But Allah knows something the heart does not yet see. He knows that some attachments do not break suddenly. They wear you down slowly. They drain your energy quietly. They steal your peace gently. They exhaust your soul silently. And Allah does not want you to wake up one day completely empty. So He begins the separation early, not with harsh endings, but with discomfort. You start feeling tired. Even when nothing big is happening, you feel unsettled without knowing why. You feel restless even in moments that used to feel safe. This is Allah speaking to your heart without words. He is saying, this is no longer good for you. But the heart needs time. It remembers memories. It remembers closeness. It remembers how things once felt. And Allah allows this remembering because healing is not forgetting. Healing is understanding. My dear one, Allah does not rush the heart. He knows that sudden detachment can break it. So He teaches the heart to release slowly, one layer at a time. First, the excitement fades. Then the comfort weakens. Then the desire to chase disappears. Then the strength to hold on fades. And finally, the heart rests. This process feels painful because it feels like losing control. But in reality, it is Allah taking control to protect you. Many people blame themselves. When attachments start hurting, they think, why can't I be stronger? Why can't I stop caring? Why does this affect me so much? My dear brother, my dear sister, Caring is not a weakness. Attachment is human. Allah does not punish you for having a heart. He simply guides the heart when it becomes attached to something that will harm it. And this guidance often comes through discomfort. Discomfort is not punishment. It is direction. Allah changes how something feels, so you stop holding it with the same intensity. Because if it still felt sweet, you would never let go. Sometimes Allah removes the sweetness to save you. And when you finally let go, something surprising happens. You do not fall apart. You feel lighter. Not immediately, not suddenly, but slowly. Your chest breathes again. Your mind becomes quieter. Your heart stops racing, and you realize how heavy that attachment was, how much space it took inside you, how much energy it demanded, how much peace it consumed. Allah replaces that heaviness with calm. Not the calm of happiness right away, but the calm of safety. And safety is healing. My dear brother, my dear sister, Allah never leaves a space empty. When He removes an attachment, He fills the space with something better. Sometimes it is wisdom. Sometimes it is strength. Sometimes it is closeness to Him. Sometimes it is all three. You begin to trust Allah more. You begin to trust yourself more. You begin to understand that not everything you want is good for you. And this understanding is a gift that protects your future. Because the heart that has learned to let go when Allah signals will not cling to harm again. And one day, when you look back, you will thank Allah for making that attachment heavy. Because if it had stayed light, you would still be holding it, and it would have broken you. Allah saved you before that happened. And that, my dear one, is mercy. Always, after Allah loosens an attachment, and after the heart finally releases it, there is a quiet phase many people do not talk about. It is the phase of emptiness. Not the painful emptiness of loss, but the strange emptiness of space. Your heart is no longer busy holding on, no longer busy worrying, no longer busy chasing, and suddenly it does not know what to do with the quiet. This is where many people panic. They think, something is missing. My life feels empty now. I need to fill this quickly. But my dear one, this emptiness is not a problem. It is preparation. Allah cleared space in your heart, not to leave it hollow, but to fill it with something purer. You see, a heart full of unhealthy attachment has no room for clarity, no room for peace, no room for Allah. So Allah empties it gently. And in this quiet space, something beautiful begins to happen. Your heart starts hearing Allah again, not through words, but through calm. You begin to notice how peaceful your days are becoming, how your chest no longer feels tight, how your mind no longer replays pain. You realize how much noise that attachment created inside you. And now that it is gone, your heart feels lighter. This is when gratitude slowly enters. Not gratitude for the pain, but gratitude for the protection. You begin to understand that Allah did not remove something from your life. He removed something from your heart. And that is a much bigger mercy. My dear brother, my dear sister, Allah never teaches detachment to make you cold. It teaches detachment to make you strong. A heart that can let go when Allah signals is a heart that will not be destroyed by the world. It will love again, but it will love wisely. It will attach again, but it will attach with balance. It will care deeply, but it will not abandon itself. This is growth, and growth often comes after letting go of something familiar. Allah knows that some lessons can only be learned through release. And when the heart learns this lesson, it changes forever. You no longer chase what runs. You no longer cling to what hurts. You no longer beg for what should come freely. You wait calmly, patiently, with trust, because now you know something you did not know before. Allah removes what harms you, even when you love it. And Allah brings what is good for you, even when you are not looking. This understanding brings peace that does not shake easily. So if you are in this phase right now, where something has left your heart and you feel quiet inside, do not rush. Do not fill the space with noise. Do not replace it with another attachment. Do not distract yourself from the calm. Sit with it, because Allah is doing deep work there. And when the right thing enters your life, it will not disturb this peace. It will protect it. And you will know this came from Allah. Always When you stop chasing people, you begin walking with Allah. There comes a moment in life when the heart finally becomes quiet. Not because everything is perfect, not because all wounds are healed, but because the heart has learned where to place its weight. For a long time, your heart was leaning on people, on words, on promises, on attention. And when those things moved, your heart shook. But Allah does not want your heart to shake with the world. He wants it anchored in Him. This is why, after all the chasing stops, after the attachments loosen, after the explanations end, Allah gently pulls your heart toward Himself. Not suddenly, not forcefully, but lovingly. You begin to notice it in small ways. Your prayers feel different. Your duas feel quiete. Your tears feel lighter. You are no longer asking Allah to fix people. You are asking Him to steady your heart. And this is a powerful shift. Because when the heart stops chasing people, it finally starts walking with Allah. Not running, not begging, walking with trust. You begin to realize that Allah was always there. Even when you were busy chasing others, He was watching you exhaust yourself. He was watching you lower yourself. He was watching you hurt quietly, and He was patient, because Allah knows that some lessons cannot be taught with words. They must be felt. Now that your heart is quieter, you begin to feel Allah's presence more clearly, not as a voice, but as calm. You feel less desperate, less anxious, less afraid of being alone, because you are no longer alone. You are with Allah. And this companionship is different from all others. It does not leave. It does not disappoint. It does not demand you lose yourself. It strengthens you. My dear brother, my dear sister, walking with Allah does not mean life becomes easy. It means life becomes meaningful. Pain still comes. Tests still arrive. People still leave. But your heart does not collapse anymore, because it is not leaning on fragile things. It is leaning on the One who never fails. You begin to trust Allah's timing without forcing your own. You stop asking, why did they leave? And start saying, oh Allah, show me what you are teaching me. This is maturity. This is faith growing quietly. When you walk with Allah, you stop fearing loss, because you know nothing taken from you was meant to complete you. Allah alone completes the heart, and everything else is a gift. You also begin to notice how Allah protects you without noise. He keeps you away from what would have drained you. He keeps your heart soft. Instead of bitter, He keeps your dignity intact. And you understand something deeply. Allah did not remove people to punish you. He removed them to bring you closer to Him, because closeness to Allah is the greatest safety. My dear one, walking with Allah is not about perfection. It is about direction. Even when you fall toward Him. Even when you are confused, you ask Him. Even when you are tired, you rest in His mercy. And this changes everything. Your heart no longer chases peace. It carries it. Your heart no longer searches for love. It receives it from Allah. Your heart no longer fears the future. It trusts the One who holds it. And this trust brings a calm the world cannot understand. If you are still here with me, I want you to know something very important. Allah saw you watching this from the very first second. He saw the moments you nodded quietly. He saw the moments your heart felt heavy. He saw the moments your eyes softened, because something finally made sense. You now understand why chasing broke you, why letting go hurt before it healed, why silence felt lonely before it felt peaceful. It was never about people leaving. It was about Allah teaching your heart where it truly belongs. You were not weak for caring. You were not foolish for trying. You were not wrong for loving deeply. You were simply human. And Allah does not punish sincere hearts. He protects them. Everything you lost was making room for something better. Everything that left was blocking something greater. Everything that hurt was shaping a heart strong enough to carry what is coming next. So tonight or today, wherever you are in the world, put your heart at ease. You do not need to chase anyone anymore. What is written for you is already finding its way. And Allah has never taken His eyes off you. If your heart feels lighter right now, That is not coincidence. That is Allah placing calm where pain once lived. May Allah replace your exhaustion with peace, your confusion with clarity, your waiting with trust. And may He give you something so gentle, so right, that you finally understand why everything else had to leave. Amen. Take a deep breath. You are safe now.